back to Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network. I am Mark Cook, and we are going to the skies, baby. We are seeing stars. Our resident astrologer, Christina Celona, has joined me as she does every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Good morning, Christina, and welcome back to Morning Coffee.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning.
So, all right, what's going on now is Mercury. Mercury, screwing up my computer, making all sorts of problems. What is going on here?
Well, we've had Mercury retrograde the last few weeks, and even those people that don't follow astrology, I see it all the time, Mercury retrograde, because it does. It messes with our communications and our electronics and things like that. They don't behave properly when Mercury's retrograde. So they get a little wacky. And Mercury is stationing direct today. So things will start to get normal in the next few days and coming weeks. Things will get some forward movement and all that kind of stuff. And our communications and electronics should start working properly. But
well, that'll be nice. I've had so many computer problems this morning. It's been kind of unbelievable. But does any of this have to do with the autumnal equinox, which happened about, I don't know,
half hour ago,
yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
But that's an important point in astrology. It's the four directions there, and the equinoxes equal day and night. Symbolically, light and dark are balanced. When the sun crosses into the sign of Libra, and we find that balance between the dark and the light. So now we'll be increasing in darkness up to the winter solstice.
Right, and then it gets flipped on its head and goes the other way.
Right, and then we start increasing in light.
What I found really interesting, I was listening to the Preston and Steve show on WMMR on my way in this morning. A little shout out to those guys. They said that during the autumnal equinox, which we're having today, which just happened a little while ago, that you can tell due east and due west. This is the only time of year that it's actually lined up, that when the sun rises, it's rising in due east and it's setting in due west because of the way everything kind of shakes out. So like if you don't know your directions,
which I don't.
Right. Well, and most people don't. They have a general idea, but most people aren't very directionally inclined, right? That's why dudes get lost all the time. So if the sun is rising now, if you stare directly into the sun, which I suggest, you should probably do that. You stare directly into the sun, you're facing east, right? And then when that sun goes down, you can turn 180 degrees and you're facing due west because the sun is going to go in that same spot.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you. It's science. It's the science part of it, right?
That is the science part of it.
Yeah, you don't like the science part.
No, I do. Just when there was like a Facebook post I saw the other day, and it was like, when you're giving directions, don't say things like east.
Right.
And I just had to laugh. I guess so maybe.
Yeah, well, people get confused when you actually give them like the actual directions. It's not, you can't just say go east. And it's funny because here in New Jersey, you can't get much more east than we are, right? But the way our coast is, it's like all these wacky directions. So like you may feel like you're facing east, but you may not be. You may be facing southeast or northeast, right?
It's
like,
still east.
It's just kind of interesting to me because I don't understand a lot of that stuff, and I don't understand how this all works together. But in talking about how things are changing, but the changes are kind of getting flushed out, and that we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Well, I've been saying all year, once we got to the point in the fall that things would start to ease up a little bit. We were just talking before we got on here, there's all year of 2016 has been like a year of like problem solving and troubleshooting and trying to get things right. And it was like, you get something and you want to make a little bit of headway and forward movement, and then it's like, oh, no, I got to go back and fix this or change that, rearrange that, So we're kind of like moving out of that now, phasing that out a little bit, So those of us that didn't prepare or that didn't, get our act together or whatever, when things speed up, you're kind of going to be scratching and clawing to catch up.
Right.
So this is why I've been telling everybody all year, to do this and that.
No, if they would have just listened to you, then everybody would be set. They'd be ready for these changes and stuff, right?
Right.
But how does this affect relationships? Because we know that probably the biggest celebrity couple in the world just filed for divorce yesterday morning. Angelina, no more Brangelina. What are we going to do? And this is crazy because they're making a big deal about how long they've been together. They've only been married for a couple of years. They got married.
Yeah, but they were still together like 12.
All right.
So, which is actually like a whole Jupiter cycle. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this might be a Brad pattern.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it. What's going on
But that
here?
was one of the things I said with the lunar eclipse last week. We also had Venus and Uranus were in an opposition together, so they were kind of like, we're the planet of love and relationships and peace and harmony faces off with the planet like Uranus that's just shocking and sudden and disruptive, so and I wrote it in my blog and we talked about it last week that we could see some breakups or shakeups or some things happening in relationships. So that was like a big headline, obviously,
right.
But that, of course, comes down to us little people, us regular people, too,
right.
And so maybe if your relationship didn't necessarily break up, maybe you need a little bit of elbow room, or there's some changes that need to be made. Somebody needs more independence, individuality. Those kinds of things are what has been taking place the last week or so.
All right, so it's not necessarily that a relationship needs to end. It could just get massaged. It could get changed. It's a evolving, an evolution, if you will.
Well, I mean, let's put it in perspective, really. I mean, relationships, especially long ones, and anybody that's been in a long relationship or married for a long time, you have those ebbs and flows, you know what I mean? And it has to kind of evolve over time.
Right.
Otherwise, it has to end.
Right.
Right. That's
a good point.
Just nature. That's what happens.
Right.
So, and apparently, I guess that's what happened for them. I mean,
yeah. What do you think happened there? Let's speculate and let's start rumors and false.
I don't know.
Well, it's such a weird thing now because they're a very big, Hollywood celebrity couple. Now, like, how do they pick their friends, right? Like, I'm sure that they run in some pretty high circles, so now they got to, like, pick and choose their friends. And how's it going to affect their careers? And the kids, what about the kids? Oh, man, there's just so much going on there.
There is. Well, like I said, and that's just one example,
right.
They're just a high-profile couple,
right.
so we can see it, and then there's plenty of regular people in their personal lives.
Yeah, but it's much better to talk about them, right, than actually worry about ourselves and really the serious things.
That's what we need to do,
right?
yes.
Yeah, come on, we know that. It's always easier to talk about somebody else than it is to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, definitely worry about people you've never met or know and their personal lives instead of cleaning up your own backyard.
Worry about everyone else. This is great. This is good advice. No, it's not. We're talking about trying to we're trying to figure out how we can kind of cope with the changes that are going on. There's like a bigger thing at play here. So we're making light of it and we're making a few jokes, but at the same time, it's kind of important to know that if you've been feeling like stuck, stagnant, or just unsettled in a certain way, there's a reason for it, and it's because of what the planets are doing up above us. But the one thing that Christina has been saying this morning is that there's hope. There's
always hope.
There's
Come on, it's not a hopeless situation, and we're not set up for failure.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to come in and say the sky is falling and that we should scramble and start running and doomsday prep and all that stuff. I know it's not that bad, but it's nice that there's like the light at the end of the tunnel.
There's really a shift in energies, and there has been all month. It's slowly shifting. I've been saying it all year. Earlier in the month, we had the 999 portal, and Jupiter moved into Libra. So it kind of changes that emphasis on problem solving and focusing on everything that's wrong. Okay. And now we have more for the next year. We have more of a focus on relationships and cooperation and working together and collaboration and things like that, an increase in diplomacy and getting along with other people, hopefully. On the flip side of that, you could always have an increase in competition and negative comparison and things like that, but we have to still flip it to the other side and go for cooperation instead.
Interesting. It's kind of like a weird, really fine line type dynamic. We're going to jump into that in a second because I want to talk a little bit more about that. So I got to take a quick break here on Morning Coffee, but we will be right back on the Radio Vision Network, so stay right there, and yeah, we'll be right back.
sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
There I am. Welcome back to Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network. We're continuing our conversation with Christina Celona, and this is just, it continues to blow my mind even more because of the way she talks about these things, and then she gives me examples, and I don't think she was anticipating talking about this on the air, but we have to talk about it because it's crazy. So, because of the unrest and the unsettling things, like, a lot of people are experiencing pretty extreme type emotions, right? Some are positive, and that's fine. But let's focus on the negative real quick, and then we'll circle it back and give you some hope. But you've noticed over the last few weeks that there's been a lot of kind of like tragic events that have happened, kind of around your individual, your person, like kind of people that you know.
Oh yeah, people that I know.
That have gone through some tough times. Now we don't need to give really the specifics of it, but you have a friend that came to your house last week, and it was during one of the
full moon lunar eclipse. So I have
full moon lunar eclipse. Of course it was.
Yes, I have my monthly new moon workshops, and starting to do some full moon workshops and meditations and things and bonfire outside. So anyway.
Right, and you can get involved by going to spellboundastrology.com. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Right.
And so, please do that. So anyhow, so I have a small group of ladies that came, that was the first one that we did. And, we're getting settled. I have things going, bonfire going, all this stuff. We finally settle in, sit down, and, the one woman, when she came, she just was a bit not distraught, but just like kind of stressed out.
She was a mess. She was completely disheveled. She was just like, look, she's trying to be nice, but the lady was visibly shaken. She was visibly upset. So what happened?
She had to put her cat down, and she just had like a really rough week, which lately that's kind of a theme too of people losing pets. There's been a lot of people that I know that have lost their pets lately.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so she had to put her cat down, and the other ladies, we were kind of just settling in. So the other ladies showed up. We're doing some other things. We settled down. And just as she says to me, she's like, all right, so this is the lunar eclipse. What should we be focusing on? You know, and I wanted to kind of do my thing and talk about the energies and everything. And suddenly I had this really like agitated feeling. And the next thing I know, this cat appears, comes into our circle out of nowhere. I mean, I don't own a cat. I'm not even a cat person, but suddenly I'm surrounded with all these cat people.
Yeah, and you live like kind of like removed. You live in the woods, so you're not even near, like, it couldn't have been like a neighbor's cat or something like that.
Well,
maybe it was, but it's a cat you haven't seen before.
Never saw this cat before, you know. So all of a sudden I'm like, there's a cat behind you. And I said to the other ladies, I'm like, she just lost her cat today. She just had to put her cat down. And she says, it's behind her now, like creeping up. And she said, is it an orange and white tabby? And we looked at each other like, yes, it is. It's an orange and white tabby. She's like, that's the kind of cat that I just had to put down today. So anyhow, she befriended this cat. It was a wild feral cat, and you know, had no collar, and it was hunting around, and it hung out with us for about 45 minutes. Circled around us and laid on the ground. It was climbing trees. I mean, it looked like a little mountain lion, you know, climbing trees, up and down in trees, hunting all over the place, and then it would like roll in the dirt around us. And it was like, as soon as we all got up, our group started to disperse because she was going to take it home.
Right. That's where I
because
thought,
I thought
like, you were going. That's where I thought you were going.
I thought, you know, and she said, you know, if it follows me to my car, I'll take it home, because I was like, it cannot stay here. My husband's highly allergic to cats, and I'm like, I just didn't want it like showing up.
Right.
Like, oh,
yeah,
I live here now.
Looking for food, right?
Yeah. So, you know, she was going to take it, but as our group got up and dispersed, the cat like disappeared as quickly and mysteriously as it appeared, and like I haven't seen it since. And I walk in the woods all the time. My house is basically made of all glass, you know, windows everywhere. So, I mean,
that is so
I haven't
bizarre.
seen it at all.
It's really, it's like one of those things. It's like you just you can't expect it, but the universe shows you these weird
it
signs
really does.
all the time. Like,
and I felt happy for her, you know, that she got that bit of just a confirmation from the other side. It really like put her at ease too, because she was so sad.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
And so it was neat. And one of the things that I had written in my blog just days before that about this lunar eclipse was that it was a highly sensitive eclipse, whether in an emotional way or in like a psychic way. And in psychic experiences, you know, that the veil would be thinner, and darn if it didn't let this cat just show up.
Yeah, wow.
You know?
It really is.
So even I was a bit blown away by it, to be quite honest. You know, I mean, I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so interesting, though, that stuff like that happens. I have a friend, she lost her sister about a year ago. On the anniversary of her death, she was very sad, very just kind of having a rough morning. Was up before the sunrise, was driving east, and then the sun was rising, the clouds formed this thing, and a song came on that was like the sister's song that was like the world show. It was like she took it as a sign, like, this is the other side communicating with me. She's telling me everything's okay, like. And to me, that like boggles my mind, right? That stuff like that happens, because you have to be a little bit open to it to kind of allow it to happen and to see it and to recognize it. But at the same time, there are other opportunities, like it sounds like the cat and like this, where it hits you in the head with a sledgehammer, and if you miss it, it's really a sign that you've missed something.
Well, one of the things I was saying lately too is that we're so open recently that, and people that don't even believe in this kind of have noticed that something's going on, even if they don't know what it is, you know. So I think for most of us, like if you haven't noticed there's a little something, then it's like you're really distracted, and we live in a world of distractions, you know. instead of just some
We
quiet
do.
time.
We do live in a world of distractions. It is amazing, the world of distractions that I live in. But, you know, it's really kind of a crazy thing because, you know, you're talking about how they're going to, like, there's that shift that's coming up.
Well, it's now. It's happening now.
It's happening now.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in it.
We're in it.
We're
knee
in
deep.
it.
We're knee deep.
We are in it.
All right. So you're talking about when they enter, like you talked about a while ago, Jupiter entering something or Venus entering.
I said, well, Jupiter entered Libra earlier this month, you know, which is a 12-year cycle. So, and this puts kind of the emphasis and importance on relationships and, like I said, cooperation and collaboration and things like that. Being nice to each other, you know.
Wow, what
learning
concept.
how to get along. I know.
Yeah.
Learning how to get along with others. You know, so that's the focus for this coming year. Basically, it's going to be there for the next year. So, and we'll probably be talking more about that as it goes on, you know, and as he does his little dance with the other planets and everything. Tomorrow, Venus enters Scorpio. So Venus, the planet of beauty and love and cooperation and money, these things kind of...
That's all right. It's okay. Money's important.
It
Look,
is. I mean,
it's
we
not
live
the
in a
most
material
important thing. It's not the
world,
most
so-
important thing. Well, this is a material world, and I am a material girl. That's what I'm saying. You're not a Madonna chick.
I was,
You
but
should have
I
been a
was-
Madonna
I
chick.
was totally a Madonna
Well, the
girl.
blank stare really helped. Thanks
Well,
a lot.
I wasn't expecting you to say you're a material girl.
Well, I listen. If you guys stay
Put
with
you in the
me.
pink
stay,
dress. You know,
stay
don't
with
the
me.
videos
It's-
come in your mind?
Listen, we're just having fun, right? I gotta take another break. That's what I gotta do. Really, I just need a way to break it up. So we're gonna take a quick one, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more with Christina, and we'll let you know how you can get in touch with her and find out what's in the stars for you. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Today's show is sponsored by Hardgrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hardgrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hardgrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hardgrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hardgrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee. There I am. I thought the commercial would end. I didn't think I would just pop right up, but here I am. So I was talking to Christina because Christina Celona is here, and this is Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network. But you knew that, right? It says Morning Coffee right there, and it says it again
There it
down
is.
there, right? See, it's Morning Coffee. It's everywhere. So look, you're talking about the veil,
Yeah.
right? The veil. What is a veil, right? It covers your eyes, right, or your face, but you can still see through it. But everything is a little translucent, right? It just is a little off. So, how do we apply that? How do we explain it to people that they've got to kind of clear their vision a little bit?
Well, it was one of the things that I also wrote in my blog. This is even before the cat incident, you know. So again, I was just as surprised as everyone else.
Right.
You know? But it's almost like you might question things or try to make sense of it or whatever, but it doesn't really fit into our little box.
Right.
You know?
And if it doesn't fit in our box, we don't want it most of the times, right?
Well, you have to be, I guess, a little more open or
Right.
expand your box.
Well, see, but you know, like you say it like that and you're right, but most people are not that way. And you know that.
Oh, I know it.
So, you know, it's a matter of kind of changing the mentality to making people a little bit more open to what they don't know.
Yeah, and that's actually starting to happen. And you really can see it just in this technological world that we live in now, where information is so readily available and exchanged and everything. You know, you kind of can see that people are starting to be like, oh yeah, what's going on with this? Oh yeah, this happened or that happened. You know, even though it might seem like not normal.
Right.
That's why when people are like, oh, that's weird, I'm like, no, that's just natural.
Right. Well, it's not weird. It's not weird because it's kind of your thing, and you're used as much as you could be used to. Kind of like what a lay person would say, crazy things happening or weird things happening.
Right.
But to them, because of the way they approach life and their mentality on this stuff, that it really freaks them out. They don't understand what's going on, but there is legitimate cosmic influence that happens to all of us and happens to all different aspects of life. It can affect your relationships, your energy, your right, your day-to-day mentality, how you feel when you wake up in the morning. I mean, all sorts of stuff.
Energy. Right? We're just made up of energy.
Well, listen, I've met a few people that they are not energy. They are the opposite of energy. Now, people say I'm energy, which is fine, and that's cool because I am, but we need to infuse some of that energy in some of these people that are walking around comatose.
Some high octane.
Yeah. We get them the good gas, the premium gas. But it's really it's kind of a thing where we're making light of it, but if you open your mind a little bit and you kind of be a little bit more receptive to some of the things that are happening around you, rather than always putting up the block and always being negative towards everything, because that's a big problem with people. They get off on being negative, and you don't have to be that way. You're actually choosing to be that way, and that's sucks. So stop it. You don't have to be,
because it's a downer to the rest of us that
right,
aren't.
and you don't have to freak out. If somebody makes a mistake on the road, that's all it was. It was a mistake. They're not a bad person or a horrible idiot or so stupid that they shouldn't be driving and all the stuff that you react to, right? That is just so extreme. People make mistakes. If you don't make any mistakes, God bless you, and you're the one that can say all this stuff to everybody else. But guess what? I've yet to meet that person or even hear about that person.
It doesn't
so
exist.
Really, the thing is chill out, right? It's chill out a little bit. Be more in tune what's happening around you. Be more open to the love that you can receive if you were just a little bit more aware of what's happening around you. And this is what you do, and you help people find that light.
I just shine a little light, you know, just in dark places. Shine a little light of awareness, basically. Self-awareness, I think, is like the best tool for astrology. Is instead of like saying, you know, can you be a fortune teller?
Yeah,
to predict
right.
the future.
That doesn't help people. And to say like, oh, well, study this chart and do this and do that, and yeah, you can learn the technical aspects of it, but I'd rather talk to you and find out about what's going on, right?
It's so much easier to talk to somebody.
It's so much easier.
You know?
So you have to right now. You have to tell everybody how they can get in touch with
Spellbound
you.
Astrology.
Do this one.
Oh, spellboundastrology.com. You can go on my tab of services offered, or you can go on my Tales of Lunacy. You can read my blog, subscribe for free. You'll receive that in your email only like twice a month. I won't inundate you with emails. I really don't have the time.
Yeah, well, but the blog is interesting though because it's only a couple times a month, but the information in there is big. Like it's a good read. It's not a little blurb. Like you actually spend time to formulate your thoughts and write them out in a nice piece to just give everybody a little bit of a breakdown on what's happening on a bigger level.
Yeah.
But then if you're at the website or if you get the blog like emailed to you, you just have an excellent way to be able to I'm getting a Skype. I'm going to call on the Skype line here. I'm trying to talk about Spellbound Astrology. So, listen, I want everybody to go and check you out, right? Spellboundastrology.com. Check out Spellbound Astrology on Facebook. That's the easiest way to get in touch with Christina. So I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with us again here today.
Namaste.
What's that?
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. That's a different language.
Yeah.
What does that
Okay,
mean?
get your Skype thing.
Now I'm gonna let it keep ringing.
Are you really?
For now, yeah. We're on. We're on, right? So no, we're off. I'm gonna go to commercial and then I'm gonna answer the phone, okay? But I will see you next week.
We'll be here.
So make sure everybody stick
All
around.
of us.
Yes, we're all here. We're all gonna be here next week. So make sure.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.